Hey guys, so we wanted to go ahead and introduce the new HotSchedules scheduling and the process by which you're going to need to set up your account. And so we've set up this little bit of a video to just kind of help people. It's kind of going to be a raw video, but we just figured that this is going to be better than nothing. So all of you at this point have gotten an email to the email that you get the old schedule, and it's going to look like this. It's going to say support at HotSchedules. It's going to say HotSchedules login. Just to note, the word HotSchedules is one word. So if you're ever needing to search for anything HotSchedules and you search for it separate, it will not find it. So always make sure you do it with the one word. So go ahead. We're using Garrett's account. And so he's letting us use this. So you're going to open up your email. It's going to say, hello, your name, and here's your login information. And this is going to be a temporary username and password. We're going to change both of these things as we go through this process. And so then you're going to go into your browser and you're going to type hotschedules.com and then go to login. And that is going to bring you to this page, at which point you'll type in that temporary password and your temporary username and then your temporary password, just like this, just like the information was given to you in that email. And then you're going to go ahead and hit login. There's no sense in hitting remember me yet because we're going to be changing this. So you're going to come to this user agreement page. Feel free to go ahead and read through that. And then right up here at the top it says accept. The next page is going to ask you to select your language. Just go ahead and drop down and pick which language you prefer. And then this is just showing you a couple of the initial steps that we're going to go through. You can read this real quick. And then we're going to go, and when you're ready, you're just going to go ahead and hit accept up top. The next page is where we're going to create your profile. And so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to change your username. And it's going to be really important that we change the usernames to your E-Train passwords, and that will be something that if you need, we will get from Laura. She has those, or you can talk to any of the other team leaders to get that reset for you, but you do want it to be set to your username that you would use for E-Train, and then I would also suggest that you use your password from E-Train. And so real quick, we're just going to go ahead and use a little blank password that's going to allow us to just set Garrett's account up. And so once you've got that, you're just going to make sure that this email here was pulled over. This is the email that your schedule goes to. It should have been pulled over, so you shouldn't have to adjust anything, but just confirm and make sure. At which point we're going to go through and make these security questions, and you're going to set these things up just for yourself and kind of go through them, making sure that you've got all of these things set up. So we're just making up a couple things for the fake profile that we're doing real quick. You're going to set up your birthday. And then go ahead and put in your address, and I'm actually just going to leave that blank for the sake of time, but please do enter in your current mailing address. This is for your new profile. Your cell phone number has been pulled across. Please note that in both this email form on number 3 and on this the cell phone form on number 7, you're not going to check that box. If you hide your number from your coworkers, you're not going to be able to have people call you when they want to trade shifts with you or contact you with a lot of the features that HotSchedules have. So please leave those boxes unchecked. Number 8, this is a feature that we're still learning about, but I'm going to suggest that everybody set up the number 8 with the configured text messaging. This is going to allow you guys to get all of the different alerts as things come through and as the shifts are changed. Again, HotSchedules is going to allow us a lot of flexibility with our shifts, and that's going to mainly be through all this communication. And so I'm going to encourage you to set up this text messages. Now, If you're on a service plan that charges you per text message, then maybe be careful with what text messages you set yourself up with. But many plans nowadays have unlimited messaging or a lot of messaging included in them, at which point you're going to go ahead and set this up. And just make sure that you have this selected as yes if you want to use this. You do have to re-enter your phone number. You saw that I put that in there. You have to agree to the terms. Those are 3 little buttons that kind of get missed. And these are already pre-selected, but then just going through and selecting here in the middle will get you all set up as well. So once those are all selected, you can hit save and it'll tell you if you miss anything. And that's it as far as setting up your profile. Go ahead and hit save changes. This is where the schedule is gonna live from now on. You can just go ahead and delete that box real quick. This is where the schedule is gonna live, and as time goes on, you're gonna see more and more information in here. The most important thing for you guys to do right now is you just kind of click around and explore is we've got 2 new features on this as far as requesting time off and whatnot. And so far you'll see that they have 2 categories of that right here. So far we've just said we request time off. However, HotSchedules allows us to do this really neat thing where we can kind of do both. And so we are going to select a day. I'm going to show you how to do this. So you'll notice that when I selected a date, and you can pick any random date, you go to this drop down menu and you see there are 3 items now. Of course, we've never had that before. We just email the schedule at Gmail and ask for time off. Well, now we've got 3 items. We've got unpaid time off, we have request to work, and we have request off. So let's be really clear and talk through these. Unpaid time off is now going to be the items that you really need off, and you need to know in advance if you got it off. So these would be like maybe you've got a doctor's appointment, or you're going to be out of town, or for whatever reason, you're going to be hanging out with a friend and you really you need to confirm that you have that time off. Whereas down here at the bottom, request off is more for if you would like this time off, but it's kind of casual. Like maybe I'm gonna go to this thing, or maybe it would be great if I could, or if I don't have to work this specific night, that'd be great. But requests off down at the bottom are not going to be officially approved or acknowledged until the schedule comes out. It'll just be if we can do it, we'll do it. If not, we can't. However, unpaid time off up here at the top, those are going to be yes, you may have that date off and we will get that to you in advance. So that's a big difference. And then request to work, that would be if you really would like to work a specific shift in a given week, you can use that. And again, as we go down here, you'll just go ahead and select the date. So you can click all day, or you can just do a specific time. Say your doctor's appointment is at a specific time of the day. You can put the time that you need off to the time that you can come back. And then you will need to just go ahead and put in a comment of what's going on. Don't feel like you have to put anything super personal, but just kind of an idea. So you could just say doctor's appointment, or family vacation, something to that effect. And then when you save it, it's going to say that it's pending. So let's go ahead and make one real quick, and we'll just say that this is going to be from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. and then it's for a doctor appointment. So you go ahead and save it, and I had it selected as a request to work. So it's going to be an unpaid time off request because I need that, and I needed to know in advance if I can have it. Hit save, and then you'll notice that right here it's sitting there, and it says right at the top, if you look at that, type unpaid time off and then pending, because from now on the scheduling manager will be able to, through this schedule, tell you if you actually were able to get that off or not, so that you can make better plans. You'll notice that just as always, the schedule is grayed out 2 weeks in advance, so nothing has changed with our policy there. You will need to make sure that all of those requests are submitted before then. And again, as always, whether or not you get that time off will be communicated to you, and you're responsible for those shifts. So again, we've got two types now. We've got time off, and then we've got requests. Time off being that time that you absolutely need off and have to have future confirmation that you did get that time off. And request is just like a casual, hey, it would be nice if I could have that off. The next thing that I want to draw your attention to is also right here up at the top. It's settings. You're going to go to personal. And this is where we're going to write our new availabilities. So you guys have the control now over your availability. And so what you're going to do is to create your first availability, which we'd like you to do right now, is you're going to go to this plus sign on this calendar. You notice the November 23rd is locked. This is locked. I can't do anything here. It's got this lock screen down here. So you're going to go to add availability. The effective date is for your first availability is going to be today. However, the students or anybody who's got anytime you have an availability change, this would be especially true for students in college with a new semester. You can set this availability out for the beginning of your new semester. So maybe January 9th or January 16th, you can set that up. But for right now, for everybody else, we're going to go ahead and just set this as our initial availability as of today, 12/6/16. You're going to submit this always to the scheduling manager, which right now is Laura. Even though Armando and myself show up in this, we're going to send that to Laura, obviously. And then the change, you can just, for the initial one, you can just type in the word initial or initial availability. And then, as it says right here, you're just going to do click and drag. And so this is really intuitive. I'm just going to come over here. You see it starts highlighting. So this is when you are unavailable to work. So let's say I have a class from 9:30 to 3. Well, that probably means I can't come into work before 8:30, and so we're going to start at 8:30, and we're just going to drag over, and we're going to go to about 3:15 because I think that I can get back to work by 3:15 because maybe my class ends at like 2:50. So right there it says that I am unavailable from 8:30 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. And if I mess up, I can just click on this and it'll go away. I'm sorry, you just drag it backwards. That's all you need to do. Just go back and it disappears. So like even this one, I just accidentally clicked and I just drag it and it goes away. So let's put that back. We've got 8:30 to 3:15, and you can see it drags out in quarters. So I could go to 3:30, 3:45, whatever you'd like. And so that's where I can put in my class. And then maybe I've also got something going on that night from 8 to midnight, and so I'm also unavailable during that time. Of course, you can do whatever it is. Note that the schedule does start at midnight, so you want to make sure that you note whether it's AM or PM. If you need to block off an entire day, say you're just completely unavailable on maybe a Tuesday, you can just go over here, highlight Tuesday, and then click, and then it knocks out the entire day for you. So really easy to knock out an entire day. And then say, you can go through the rest of your day. Maybe I'm always available all day Wednesday, Thursday, but on Friday I've got a class or I've got an appointment from 8 to 11 and then from 1 to 3, and I can make those two things really easy. Again, just kind of scrolling, clicking, and then dragging. And of course, we aren't going to be scheduling on Sundays. Please don't feel like you have to, gray that out. But if you want to, you can. But obviously, we don't schedule anybody. If you need to just start all over, you can clear your availability right here, and that'll start everything all over. I'd like to make a really important note here, guys. The more available you make yourself, the better we can schedule you and give you the hours you like. And so around this time, whenever we ask for new availabilities, people kind of start changing them. That's fine. We want to make sure you get the hours you want, but that's the thing, is we want to make sure you guys get hours. And so if you've been working a 10:30 a.m. shift to 5, let's say, and now you change your availability to 11, we're not just going to give you the 11 to 5 portion of that shift. We're going to have to find somebody who can work that whole shift, because that's how we do the schedule, is by shifts. And so we've created a 10:30 to 5 shift for in this example. So if you change your availability, that means you're no longer eligible for that shift. So if anything, I'd really highly encourage you, give us the absolute maximum availability you can. If you are fully available on a day, let us know that, and we will, and then talk to us about what your preferences are, but like leave your availability as open as possible. When you're done making all of your edits, you're just going to go down here at the bottom and hit submit availability, and it's going to say right here your availability is pending approval. That's going to hit Laura, and she's going to go ahead and approve that for you. At any time you can cancel your request if necessary. And that's it. That's how you set up your first availability. For those of you who have your new semester schedules, you're more than welcome to go ahead and add a second availability. Or if you know your overall availability is going to change, you can go ahead and do that now as well. Go ahead and just go in here, select when your classes start, or when you need that new availability to begin, and do the same things, the same steps that we just did. Other than that, guys, right now that's literally all we want you to do. We just need your availabilities input and your profiles created. You feel free to watch this video a couple times and go back and review anything that was confusing. But you just got to see a pretty good example of what we want to do. As always, please feel free to reach out to myself, to Laura, to Armando, whoever, your team leaders are also aware of how to do this. They're being trained on this. We're really just trying to make sure this is as smooth as possible for you. Once we get all of the availabilities in is when we can start doing the schedule. So I'm going to ask you guys to do that as soon as possible. And then we're going to hopefully have the schedule out within the next maybe week, probably 2 weeks though. But again, that just kind of, if we can do this all a lot faster, then we can keep moving. So thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate your help. And we'll go ahead and talk to you later.
Okay, we're good. I can cut it out later. So.